大家好, I'm Martin, and this is Short Stories, brought to you by the Taichung Keda Language Center. Today's short story is called The Little Mermaid. Now, many of you may have seen the old Disney cartoon by the same name. The version of the story we're going to read today is the original Hans Christian Andersen version, which means that it does not have a happy ending. Well, before I start the story, I'm going to give you the vocabulary and vocabulary example sentences. Then I will read the story, and I will end by telling you or asking you 4 listening comprehension questions. Okay, I think we need to begin. Vocabulary. Rush. Rush. In the fast-moving river, the water rushed powerfully towards the sea. Drift. Drift. A broken tree branch drifted to the shore. Approach. Approach. Yvonne approached her teacher after class to ask him about the homework. Reunite. Reunite. My relatives reunite every year at my grandmother's house. Witch. Witch. In Harry Potter, schoolboys are wizards and schoolgirls are witches. Stab. Stab. The thief stabbed the guard dog when the dog attacked him. Farther. Farther. The beach was farther away than the swimmers thought. Flow. Flow. Penelope turned on the hose and watched the water flow out onto the grass. Rule. Rule. In Sweden, a king and queen still rule over the country. Curious. Curious. As a child, Albert Einstein was very curious. Remind. Remind. The delicious meal reminded me of my grandmother's cooking. Cabin. Cabin. The sailors gathered in the cabin of the ship to play cards. Struggle. Struggle. The ant struggled to carry the large piece of bread. Graceful. Graceful. The artist loved to paint dancers because of their graceful movements. Drip. Drip. The popsicle melted in the sun and its juice dripped down my hand. Pain. Pain. Mother Teresa helped many people who were diseased and poor, trying to ease their pain. Float. Float. Monty blew a bubble out of soapy water and watched it float up into the sky. Now we will start the story. In the depths of the ocean, farther than the mind could imagine, is the castle of the Sea King. It has walls made out of coral, and the roof is built from shells that open and close as water flows over them. Inside, the king rules over everything that swims through the clear blue water. The Sea King lives with his mother and his 6 beautiful mermaid daughters. Out of his daughters, the youngest is the prettiest of them all. She is a strange child, quiet and curious. She loves to take care of her garden. She cares so much for her pretty red blooms, which remind her of the sun. She cannot wait until she turns 15. At this age, her grandmother will allow her to visit the world above. When the little mermaid finally is old enough, she sets off from the deep to the top of the water. The first thing she sees is a large ship. There is music and song on board, and the little mermaid swims close to the cabin windows. She can see many people inside. Among them is a handsome young prince with large black eyes. The party is for his 16th birthday. As the mermaid watches the ship, a terrible storm comes in fast. The ship flips on its side and water rushes in. In a flash of lightning, the mermaid sees the prince sink into the deep waves. She dives deeply under the dark waters to save the handsome prince. Reaching his body, she holds his head above the water and lets the waves drift them. In the morning, the little mermaid swims to the shore. She lays the prince in the sun and hides. Eventually, a young girl approaches and calls for help. The prince awakes, but doesn't know what the mermaid has done. He thinks that the young girl who found him on the beach has saved his life. Desperate to reunite with the prince, the mermaid visits the sea witch. The witch tells the mermaid that she can give her legs. However, with every step, the mermaid will feel as if 1,000 knives are stabbing her feet. Also, if the prince does not return the mermaid's love and marries another, she will die. Still, the mermaid decides to follow her heart. She pays the witch with her voice, letting the witch cut out her tongue. Naked, the mermaid struggles to the surface of the water, reaching land near the prince's castle. He takes pity on the mermaid and lets her live with him. Though she's unable to talk, the mermaid is the most graceful dancer in the kingdom. However, she suffers with every step. The prince even grows to care about her. The mermaid is not without hope until the prince tells her that he has found his true love. He will marry the girl who he thinks saved him. The night before the prince's wedding, the mermaid's sisters swim to the shore. They have a knife from the sea witch. The little mermaid must plunge the knife into the prince's heart. Then the dripping blood on her legs will merge them into a tail. She can live and all her pain will be over. The mermaid goes to the prince's bedroom, planning to kill him but cannot do it. She throws the knife into the sea and dives in after it. Instead of dying, though, her body floats up and she becomes a child of the air. She'll wait for 300 years in limbo, not dead, but without an immortal soul. Now, time for the questions. Question 1. Who does the Little Mermaid meet when she visits the surface for the first time? A. A handsome prince. B. An ugly prince. C. The Sea King. D. The Sea Witch. The answer is, of course, A handsome prince. There is always a handsome prince. Question 2. What price does the Little Mermaid pay to the Sea Witch in order to see the prince again? A. Her voice. B. Her legs. C. Her father's life. D. Her own life. The answer is A. She pays with her voice. Question 3. Who does the prince want to marry? A. The Sea Witch. B. The girl he thinks saved him from drowning. C. The Sea Queen. D. The Little Mermaid. The answer is B. The girl he thinks saved him from drowning. Remember, he was found by a girl on the beach, and the girl called for help. He believes that that girl is the one that dragged him out of the water. Question 4. What choice does the Little Mermaid make at the end? A. She decides to kill the prince. B. She decides to go back to the sea. C. She decides to kill the Sea Witch. D. She decides to get a job. The answer is B. She goes back to the sea. She does not kill the prince. She throws the knife into the sea and then dives in after it. She dove into the water knowing that she would probably die. However, she did not. Okay, so now we have finished the story, and you can see that the ending of this version is not a happy ending at all. It's kind of a strange and dark ending, really. And it ends trying to answer a question that actually begins the story. If you read the Hans Christian Andersen story, it starts with a statement that mermaids do not have souls. And then it ends with a kind of ambiguous ending. Do mermaids have souls? Can they get souls? I don't know. Anyway, that is today's story. Thank you for watching. I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.